because we have a third part relating to some words that to the people, to the public in China. So I would ask you something relating to what would you want to say to them. And and the first is relating to Chinese women. I remember very clearly that once in our supervision, you shouted for a female patient, and which really deeply surprised me, because I can feel that you really care about the well-being of women from the bottom of your heart. So based on your own experience working with female patients over years and your impressions on doing supervision for Chinese female cases in these recent years, would you think there is certain cross-cultural similarities between women, Western women and Chinese women? So what, when we are thinking about the long-term happiness of Chinese women, what do you want to say to them? Yes.
I'm very interested in the traditional bad treatment that women have been getting in all Western societies. I don't know enough about Eastern societies to have an opinion, but in Western culture, we've had a patriarchal system that only in the 20th century really started to change. I think that women need to experience themselves as equal to men. And I'm not saying it lightly, because women have internalized a sense of inferiority that they tend to maintain, and that we often need to resolve in treatment. I think that women have the difficult task of being more involved with their babies than men, naturally, but they should not feel that work and motherhood are incompatible. Motherhood is only a limited period of time. Work is all one's life. I think that women should learn not to feel guilty if they have children and work at the same time. And that women should have equal opportunities. I think they have equal capacities. They naturally should have equal salary, should be equal before the law. And I believe that issues of childbearing and abortion should be in the hand of women and not the state. I think that the state should stay away from regulating sexual life other than protecting the citizens from sexual violence. Everybody should be protected from sexual violence, no doubt about that. But beyond that, people should free to have the sexual life identity that they want to, and it is an area of privacy, I believe, that should be educated from childhood on. If a boy masturbates in Western society, often he's told, you don't do that, it's bad, it's against the religion, it's against health or whatever. I think the little boy should be told, when you masturbate, you should do it privately. There are some things that one does being alone and not in public. Sexual life is your private right, and you keep it for yourself. Same as we as your parents keep our sexual life private for ourselves.
Yeah.
that is one area. I think that people have also learned how to maintain independence of judgment under varying social conditions. In other words, Freud discovered that when people are in a large mass, in a mass movement, in a regressed group situation, a large regressed group situation, the intelligence level decreases. People no longer have the capacity of full independent reasoning. I think that high school students should be taught to maintain their independence of judgment and not be automatically sucked into group shared convictions that may have regressive features. I think there's a danger in all societies of regressive group processes that can be deadly and dangerous. Freud pointed to that. I think how to diagnose good leadership and differentiate it from bad one, how to carry out good leadership in contrast to bad one, how to learn to have a community and community activities without regression into large group psychology. These are things that should be studied in high school. Same as in high school, it should be studied that the secret of sexual life is to learn to integrate erotic feelings and loving feelings, sex and tenderness. We should teach that. We don't teach that, at least not in Western school. We don't teach anything about this. We teach them about sexual organ. Sexual education is learning the biology of the body. The important thing is not the biology of the body, but the concept of the integration between the erotic and the tender, between emotion and erotic experience. So going back to your question about women, I think that men and women need to be educated to the equality of rights of women at home, in the area of work, and in the social expectation of them. I'm critical of a kind of a feminism that is anti-masculine. That is not what I have in mind, but a feminism that preaches companionship and equality.
Yeah, so I think for a woman's long-term happiness, we really need more education, and also the balance of work and the childbirth issue, and at the same time sexuality part learning. In China, actually, before I work with high school students, and I do teach sexual issue relating to our mind, relating to how did we date, how did we form a relationship, what do we need to have sex before we want. Yeah, so this and that, this is what I do for the last more than 12 years in a high school. So I totally agree what you're saying, and this is much more beyond my question, because my question is for adults, women who actually struggle between work and, child and the expectations of the society and the family and themselves. There are a lot of Chinese women who are under pressure of their ambitions, not like you, which is more enjoyable of your ambitions. So I think, so for Chinese women to become more happiness, maybe it's not our question can cover, but what you think as far as you see a happy woman, including maybe your wife and other women's, even when they are getting older, they can still enjoy their life. Yeah. What is the essence of or qualities that Chinese women could also develop during their younger times? Like I am in my middle age. Yeah. So what can we do to have a happier and happiness life?
I think to help individuals to become emotionally mature is the first guarantee for a happy life, in the sense that one learns what one's needs are and how to gratify them. That goes for everybody. I think that women should have the same opportunities and stimulation to go into all and every profession, and they should begin early professional development, so that if they get slowed down once they are having children, they already are on the road to go back and have a full professional identity. If they don't, if before having children they don't have their own professional interest, it's more difficult then to shift. So
yes,
we have to, I think we have to really open the mind of women to the possibility of a full social and work existence, and not only motherhood. That's perhaps the main message for education of women. And of course, any sexual violence should be fought. Women who are being mistreated by their men have to be helped and protected, as well as men mistreated by women. It is usually not known that there are quite a number of masochistic men who are suffering under the treatment by very masochistic, very sick women, and they don't have the social support. There are sometimes important and difficult cases to treat.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I think you always know what I'm going to say sometimes, because this is my following question relating to men.